Hey everyone, it's 7 and I just got back from doing the maiden flight of the C-130, so I thought I would just go over some of my thoughts about the airplane as we go along here. I'm just going to wait till a couple more people show up in the room here. I'm still getting things set up because I do have to go to work here in just a moment, so hang on just a sec, guys. How's it going, guys? We just got started a second ago, so we're gonna get started in just a moment. (250 FPV, Mathenies. Hi, how you doing, man? So guys, I just had the maiden of the C-130 this morning. I was in a canyon, so we had no cell signal, so we weren't able to do a full, live stream like I normally would. So, hey Robinson, how you doing, baby? Baby, did I just call you baby? I'm so sorry. How you doing? I didn't mean to say baby. Oh my gosh, the comedy just keeps coming, isn't it? All right, guys. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the little intricacies of this airplane and what I thought about the maiden flight. Maiden flight went really well. Let me just see if I'm in shot here. Yeah, maybe I'll go over here. What do you think? Live streams are always a little bit weird. Let's see here. Yeah, just a second. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, so here's the story, guys. Number one, thank you so much to Riff. A lot of you guys have seen Riff on my channel before. I did a full airplane man hanger video on him a while back. You guys can check that out in the videos. I will put a link to the video as soon as I get home tonight to his man cave hanger. But Riff took me out to OCMA, which is in Black Star Canyon here in Southern California. Now here's the thing, is that we have a cold front coming in. It's supposed to possibly rain tonight or tomorrow. So we were out there this morning, and unfortunately the winds were really swirling around. Even the local guys there were like, man, I'm not gonna fly because it's a little wacko. So we found a little bit of a window. I was able to fly this one time, and the thing flies really good. One of the things I noticed about the airplane, it was very control sensitive. So the online manual does not have any recommendations for how much deflection you should get on your ailerons and rudders. But I had everything set up on these two knobs here. So during the flight, I was able to take it from 100% throws, which are about like that, down to half the throws. And I'll be doing a follow-up video on this to show you guys about how much the throws were. I was a little worried about the ailerons not being super big. I was worried about them being, for such a big airplane, I was worried about it not being able to roll very quickly with those small ailerons, but I was wrong. Those things really worked well. So I could probably take the ailerons from 50% throw, probably down to about 40% throw, I think would be just fine. And I was going to connect the ailerons with a mix to the rudder at the same time, but I figured for a maiden flight, I don't normally fly with rudder mixes or anything like that. I would just do it all manually. So I took that mix out of there. Same thing with the elevator. I mean, that's let's see, that's about 50% throw right there. And even though, it's pretty minimal throw, it had a big effect on the airplane. I think because there's such a small distance between the center of the wings and the tail, it's going to give you that pitch sensitive type of flight. So I could definitely throw down my rates a little bit on the elevator, but all in all, it went really, really well. Now, as you guys know, I fly from Kite Hill. There's not a lot of rules. You can stand right on the runway and there's no problems. I fly overhead all the time. This was at an AMA sanctioned field, so we had the runway, we had a big distance between where you stand. So it really makes your airplanes feel small. I feel like I was really far away from my airplane, so that was giving me a little bit of weird headspace when I was flying this thing. Like I said, everything went well. I did land it. I didn't land it on the runway. I landed it into the dirt flat section right next to the runway. Because the winds were coming up so much, I had an opportunity to land it, and everything went really, really well. The landing was perfect. So. The landing gear is a little weird. Not weird, but when you first plug in your battery, you should always take the switch that activates the gear and flick it one way and then the other way. So it's just flick, flick, and that will recenter it, and it'll tell it where it's at in its travel. If you don't do that, if you just plug in the battery, like the landing gear is out right now. If I just flick the switch to close the landing gear, the first portion of the landing gear will not retract first, and then the gear goes down. What will happen is your gear will go down and hit into that little panel that hasn't retracted yet. So when you do the flick, you go on off. It tells us, okay, I know what position I'm in, and then you retract your landing gear, and then everything's fine. As far as the airplane goes, the thing is amazing. It's worth every penny that you would pay for this airplane. I think, hands down, this is probably one of the better airplanes that Avios has put out, Hobby King in the recent years. It has everything. Every guy at the field today was really enamored about the hatch that comes down, the sequencing landing gear, and also I decided I wanted to do a little bit more of a scale takeoff, because I've seen a lot of the maiden flights where the guys power down the runway and pick it up off the ground really, really quick. So I actually went down the runway at about half throttle and just picked it up and then increased throttle, and then I was up and away. And it surprised me how much power this thing actually really has. Let me try to think. Okay, so the finish on this is just great. What I would recommend is, if you guys get this airplane, to get yourself a can of brush on Minwax. It's from Home Depot. The white here is going to start picking up some hand oils and whatnot, and the hand oils will start getting into the intricate bits of the foam. So there's a little hand scuff here that I can see that I can probably wipe off really nicely. But that Minwax will give it that nice sheen, that bright, shiny sheen. And if you do get some dirt on the fuselage, you can just take a rag and wipe it off. So it gives it that nice water protection, and it's not going to let those dirt particles sip down into this kind of coarse paint. So that, and also it'll give you a little bit of scuff resistance as well. So I would highly recommend that for if you're going to get this airplane. Tom, if you're watching this, I would recommend that you do that. So I had no dings on the airplane when I was flying it, because this, if you guys don't know, is going to go out to one of my subscribers who decided he really, really wanted it. So I thought I would let it go to him. I figure if I want this airplane in the future and they become available again, I will just go ahead and buy another one. But I figured Tom was he just was very sincere and said, hey, I really was looking forward to this thing and I missed out on my chance. So I'll be sending this out to Texas pretty soon. The only thing that happened with this airplane, ding-wise, is as I was putting it back into my car, the fuselage ran into my fingernail, and I got a tiny fingernail gouge in the side here. So tiny, but we could probably fold it back over and put a little bit of blue Sharpie on there, and it would probably be just fine. But I was trying to get away today without getting any of those crazy things happening. So anyway, thanks guys. I'm going to make this a pretty quick video, but I am going to look at your chat here just to see if you guys have any questions about it. Now, I was so nervous during the flight that I forgot to take my landing gear up, because I normally don't fly with retractable landing gear. And I also flew at half flaps for the entire flight. I forgot to put the flaps up as well. When I did the landing, I did go to full flaps though. That was kind of funny. All right, so let me just take a quick peek at you guys' your comments, and then I've got to get off to work here in just a second. Stuart Sutherland, Lauren Robinson, how you doing? 250 FPV, it's massive, yes. Stuart's saying hi. Love that C-130, yes. Cool t-shirt, Jeff, thank you. I think I'm growing out of it though. I might be getting bigger. Anyone else hear Jeff's heartbeat? Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, Riff is here as well. Yeah, the kids are listening to rap downstairs. I thought he was a droid. SD Crawler, how you doing, buddy? Michael W, do you have video of your flight? I do have video. So Riff was filming the entire flight. And if you didn't get to see the comment that I put down, Mike, is that I had zero cell signal in Black Star Canyon, so we weren't able to do a live stream. So sorry about that, but it's just the way it worked out. But we will have video of this up in the air probably tonight. If not tonight, probably the next night. But let's take a quick peek here. Robinson says, Lauren says, I always forget the retracts too. Stuart Sutherland says, handle with white gloves, dude. Yeah, exactly. But like I said, hey, it's down in one piece, and my gosh, it was really some of the most challenging flying conditions that I've ever flown in. Also, probably the most nervous that I've ever been as far as flying an airplane. When you have something that looks this beautiful, you don't want to mess it up. You know, it's not my wingnetic or, you know, my Consendo. That's not scale. You know, you don't want to mess these things up. So I was really, really nervous. My nervous level with this was about the same nervous level as my large Drac. I was so nervous to maiden that thing, because that was a pretty airplane as well, and it had a lot of equipment on board. So anyway, guys, let me just take a quick peek here. Does she fly scale? So Stuart, I did fly it fairly scale. Now it was hard with the wind that was out there, but as I was bringing it into the wind, I was bringing it past the runway, half throttle, most of the passes there. I rarely ever got to full throttle. In fact, I think I only hit full throttle once during the whole entire flight. And you'll see I did, the winds were swirling around, so I came from left to right to start on my landing approach. And I was almost to the runway, and then it picked itself back up because it was a little pitch sensitive because of my aileron throw, or my elevator throw. And then I went back around, and I actually pulled a really tight turn, and one of the guys pops out from the back and says, hey, land it right to left because the wind is changing right now. So I did, and I landed it fairly far down the runway, but I got on to the runway with one bounce. It kind of went boop, like this, and hey, I got two landings out of the thing, as Riff would say. Hey, Joe Barnett, how you doing? Okay, guys, so like I said, I'm going to make this one fairly quick, but I just want to let you guys know everything went well. Unfortunately, that's probably going to be my only flight with it. I was thinking about going out to Costa Mesa with this thing and flying it, but I can't run the risk of breaking the airplane or scuffing it or damaging it when this is actually intended to go to somebody else. So with respect to that, I will end this video. Thanks everyone for following my progress with this. Probably tonight I'm going to do a quick video on the little intricacies and the little quirks about this airplane that you should get used to when you first buy this airplane. Like in the instructions, there's a bunch of mistakes in the instructions. It says if you have a choice of setting up 2 ailerons or 1 aileron, set it up with 2 ailerons, which is not correct. The ailerons are in a Y connection. It also says if you are setting up your flaps, put it on a 2-flap system. Well, there are 2 flaps there, but it's basically telling you to tell your radio that those flaps are flying on independent channels, which they're not. They're wired together. So the outboard flaps are wired together, the inboard flaps are wired together. So there's a lot of little mistakes in the instructions. So I'll probably film that tonight at my house. I'll bring this with me, and then I'll start unpacking it and doing the origami to try and get it back into the box and get this sent out to Texas. So once again, guys, make sure you say thanks to Riff if you ever see him online. He was kind enough to say, hey Jeff, I'd love you to bring the C-130 out to Black Star Canyon, and I'll bring you out there as a guest so I didn't have to pay the fees or whatever. And they were all really nice out there. All the guys that were out there took a look at the airplane and said that's a really good looking airplane. All the guys that are retired and whatnot. So I will leave you guys with this. How about this? I'm going to throttle up the airplane here. Hang on. I'm going to put the microphone right next to the motor so you can hear it. There's just something about hearing 4 motors going all at one time. Woo! Haha! was awesome. Yeah, so anyway, guys, let me just take a quick peek here. Alex says, Gregorius, you're killing me, Jeff. All right, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's a great model. If you get a chance to buy one of these, do not hesitate. It is a great model. I can highly recommend it. In fact, when they probably come back into stock, I'm probably going to get myself another one. So with that, guys, I will talk to you guys on the next one.